And going into the season, I had my team, the Lakers, ranked as a first round team. When I say first round team, that means that this team is not good enough to get out the first round, but they're good enough to make it to the playoffs. But now the Lakers hold the second seed after making this monumental trade for Luka Doncic. But one of the things I said about the Lakers, well, it really doesn't matter anymore because Anthony Davis, he was the guy. I said, hey, Anthony Davis has to be the number one option for the Lakers to have any type of success in the postseason. AD has to be their number one option. And starting the season off, he was. But then the Lakers hit dips, started to lose to bottom feeders, couldn't really beat any of the top teams. And then on that fateful night, on a Saturday night, when the Lakers went into Madison Square Garden and LeBron puts up a triple double and they beat one of the best teams in the East, you trade your quote unquote, who I thought was going to be the next guy up. You trade him for Luka Doncic. And the question that's on the table and has been on the table ever since that trade happened is, can Luka and LeBron be compatible? Can they work off each other? Can they play together? Can they make this work? Because Luka is ball dominant. He wants the ball in his hand. He likes to operate high pick and roll, slows the game down, but also he does get in transition a little bit due to his ability to grab rebounds and kick out to the leaguers. So he is extremely good at that. So you get this guy and you pair him up with LeBron James, who's at the age of 40. I do not want LeBron on the ball 100% of the time. I do not want a 40-year-old to be the best player on my team. I want someone to come in and be that number one guy. And that is what Luka has been doing. Even though he hasn't been playing at the Luka level, he is the number one option now. And I say this, a couple ways that Luka has already benefited. I mean, LeBron has already benefited from Luka is number one. LeBron James does not have to go down there and get rebounds at a consistent rate. He can actually leak out. And he's been doing that. That's why you see Luka have these touchdown passes to LeBron James. They are able to start breaks. The team is playing a little bit faster now that you have Luka in the lineup, because pre-Luka, LeBron didn't really get so many leak outs because he was down there getting rebounds, helping Anthony Davis get rebounds. And Anthony Davis, he at times could throw the ball ahead of LeBron James for a leak out to get quick buckets, but not as good as Luka Doncic. And the second thing, LeBron James can go to the bench and the Lakers can be able to maintain or get or keep a lead because you have Luka on the court. Notice I said when LeBron goes to the bench, not when Luka goes to the bench, but when LeBron goes to the bench, you have a guy in Luka Doncic who can keep a lead, regain a lead, or just keep it at a steady flow. You can just run at steady state with Luka on the court without LeBron James on the court. This is the first time in LeBron James' career that we've seen something like this where he is able to go to the bench and the other star player can just operate without LeBron in the game and the team can still be effective. If you look at, I think March 2nd, when they played the Clippers, they are up 20. And Luka goes to the bench, but LeBron is still in the game. And they blow this 20-point lead. They get it down. The Clippers get it down to 5 or 7 points because Luka is on the bench. Not just because Luka is on the bench. I mean, the Lakers just couldn't make shots. And the Clippers, they were actually hitting shots during that run. We know the NBA is all about who can make shots and who cannot make shots. But I say that to say this, Luka wasn't in the game. You put Luka in the game, you reverse the roles, and who knows? You keep that lead. And that's the whole thing around this Luka and LeBron thing that I love the most, that LeBron can actually go to the bench and actually be able to conserve some type of energy for the fourth quarter and not have to carry the entire load on his back. You can give that to Luka Doncic. The third thing, Luka plays these high screening roles. And when you play a high screening role with Luka, it's basically two options. Go under. If you do that, he's able to knock down the three. Now, is he the best three-point shooter? No, but that's a guy who you do not want to leave open, especially when he gets hot. And we know Luka can get hot. So when they go under, Luka can actually knock down that three at a high clip. And if they blitz the screen, double team the screen, Luka is able to kick out to shooters. LeBron James is getting open threes. Austin Reeves is getting more open threes. Dorian Finney-Smith is getting open threes. Rui, he's getting open threes because when Luka comes off this pick and roll, either you are in drop coverage, he can knock down the three, or if you blitz him, he can be able to make the right decision, whether it's a lob, whether it's a corner three or a wing three for LeBron, AR, Dorian Finney-Smith, or Rui. If you are in that small lineup, you have Jackson Hayes, you have a lob there. That's a huge threat on the court when you have LeBron next to you. And now you can see LeBron actually cut into the basket as well, getting easy buckets like that. Even though AD can command a double team from the post, it is more difficult to double team on the perimeter. And it's more dangerous and lethal for your offense versus being doubled in the post. And now you have Luka operating in that space, just making the game just much easier for LeBron James. Because now LeBron doesn't have the best defender guarding him. He has the second best defender on him. And you have to put your best defender on Luka. And that gives LeBron so much freedom to operate and actually play off the ball. And we have seen LeBron's energy go up ever since this Luka trade. I'm not saying the team morale is up. I'm not in the locker room to ask these guys questions and know about the team morale. I would love to if I was a beat reporter, right? But I'm not. On the outside looking in, it seems like the morale of the team is probably the same, but up a little bit more as they try to introduce this new superstar, Luka Doncic, to LA. So those are like three huge ways I see this is just so beneficial for LeBron James. And also Luka, of course, learning LeBron's regiment, learning from one of the guys he looked up to. How could you not want to be in LA at this point as Luka Doncic? Even though you still have to go through this huge shift of being a superstar, being a franchise player, and getting traded without knowing, no acknowledgement of it. Just up and trade me, even though I'm a star guy. So you add Luka Doncic to this mix. You have LeBron James playing at a high level. And can we just please stop with all of these arguments and these discussions on First Take, whatever it may be, about LeBron and versus Jordan or LeBron versus Kobe? And can we just appreciate what LeBron is doing at the age of 40 right now? Can we just appreciate that? This guy is at the age of 40. He can switch on to your best player from possession to possession and guard them. We see him do that with Joker. We saw him start on Jamal Murray in games. We see LeBron be able to switch on the best defender. And as a roam guy who scours the court, who's able to break up plays, who's able to get in the passing lane, who's able to direct traffic on defense, can we just really appreciate what this guy is doing at 40? The numbers he's putting up the same numbers he put up in his MVP season since turning 40. Can we just appreciate that and talk about that instead of talking about what happened in the 80s or 90s? Okay, let's stop living in the past. And this is more of the old heads living in the past. Can we just appreciate the basketball players we have now? And that's another issue I have with the media. We have a lot of great things going on in the NBA right now. What LeBron is doing at 40, the Luka story, what Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry are doing, what Shea has been doing all year since the beginning in OKC, what the Cavs are doing, what Joker's doing. Probably he's going to, I think, be the first big man to average a triple-double. But we're not having these discussions. Ime Udoka, what he did with his Houston squad. We're not having those discussions because we want to harp and think about the 80s and the 90s and LeBron versus Jordan. Can we just appreciate what NBA players are doing right now in the moment and cut out all the fluff? Okay, all the fluff. Let's cut that out. But the Lakers, LeBron, high level on the defensive end, and the Lakers in general. Only issue I have, this team still doesn't have a big. Even though I saw them play great against the Denver Nuggets, we saw them swarm Joker, but Joker kicked out for threes and these guys just couldn't make threes. Now, imagine if they're making those threes. Now, though, it was a lot of plays where LeBron tip the pass. Luka tipped the pass here or there. You got steals from Austin Reeves. But if you are going to play small in a 7-game series against the Nuggets, you have to be so consistent when it comes to your rotations on the defensive end, not giving up those corner threes, not giving up backdoor dunks and layups. You have to be consistent. If the Lakers can do that, this can be a scary team, even in a small ball lineup. It truly, truly can. We have to wait and see, though. We really have to wait and see. I'm excited to see that. See how this works. I mean, it's working good so far with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves, who I mean, just a good season so far. His swagger is up like 10x. He is so good at baiting his defender to foul him. And sometimes it gets on my nerves because I'm like, okay, dude, you don't have to try to bait every single time. Try to score every now and then. But every time Austin puts his head down, he is trying to get to the free throw line. And that's something you want from your third option. That's something you want from your third option. This is not a third option that just sits in the corner and waits to get a 3-point shot. This is the third option that puts his head down, gets to the basket, and gets fouled. That's pretty neat, right? That's pretty neat. And Vando, glad to have him back. Great defender. One thing I like about his defense, he's able to recover quickly, cut off his defender. He's not worried about if someone gets him with one move, he gives up. No, he actually commits to the guy who he is guarding. And I like that. I like that a ton. It's a lot to like about the Lakers. The defense has improved. They're getting out in fast break. They're knocking down threes here and there. They just have to be a little bit more consistent with that. And the energy, the cohesiveness so far has been good between Luka and the Lakers. Finding Jackson Hayes, finding Dorian Finney-Smith, finding Rui for so many open shots. And I know we can say this about any and every NBA team. If you hit open shots, you will win games. But one thing about the playoffs, you have to hit open shots to win games. But let's appreciate what LeBron is doing at the age of 40. Let's just appreciate that. And let's see how far the Lakers can get this postseason.